Would you like to?
Oh, sure. Briefly, hi everybody, I'm Martha Culbert.
Do you want to lock that door? I'm sorry.
The Vice President of the Central West End Association.
We'll shout out. We're having Central West End Trivia Night this Saturday evening. We have 23 tables already. It's at Crossroads. We have over $7,000 in prizes that we're giving out and stuff. So it's not too late. Go on our website. We'd love to have you. Get a table, or you can just come individually. So love to see a way to turn out and support the Central West End. Thank you. Questions? Yeah. Thanks.
There's usually professionals that show up at those, at least the ones I've been to. The ringers, everybody's got a ringer. Well, for those that weren't there last week, or last month at our meeting, I'm Jim White. I'm the new NSI director for the area. It's a pleasure to serve the Central West End. I spoke a little bit about the process, and this will probably be the last time I make reference to it, but I've had 2 government security clearances in my career, and none of which were as thorough as the screening process, the hiring process for this job. So you can thank Bill and some other board members for being thorough in the process. So, let's see, we've got no overhead tonight, so I'm not going to kill you with any PowerPoint, which is good. We've got a brief agenda. We're going to hear from Captain Jim Moran. He's the new captain of the 9th District. Took over for Mike Caruso at the beginning of the year. We've got just some updates that Sarah and I will provide you regarding our security providers that are funded through the NSI. There was an officer we wanted to recognize that works off-duty in the Central West End area here and rides a bike. Except every Wednesday he has a prior commitment to the police department, and he's on a board there. So we'll have to recognize him in his absence. We're going to speak briefly about neighborhood impact statements and neighborhood order protections. And we have Neil Miller here from the Circuit Attorney's Office, who's also a resident of the Central West End, that can help further explain that, the importance of those. We have a guest speaker tonight from the Circuit Attorney's Office, Jack Hulsman. He's going to speak. He's the director, the coordinator for the Fraud Prevention Task Force under Jennifer Joyce. And he's got some interesting, up-to-date information about current frauds that are being committed. Hopefully that information will keep you from becoming a victim. And then Vera Lyons, is Vera here? Oh, that's okay. No excuse necessary. So why don't we start off with Captain Moran. Captain?
Good evening, everyone. Everybody today, beautiful day. I'm Jim Moran, for those of you who didn't meet me last week, or last month, and been around the Central West End for a long time. I was commander of the 7th District, right across the street for 6 years. So I've been around here for quite a long time. I've met a lot of people, so it's really helped me with my transition here to the 9th District. When you talk about crime, you know, I never am one to take credit for crime going down, because I know that I take all the blame when crime goes up. But at least I can say that in the 9th District and in the Central West End, we're seeing some really opportune times. Crime's down this part. We measure it from the same period each year to year. So when we measure crime, we measure the 2011 version versus the 2012 version. So the year-to-date would be measured from the year-to-date January 1 to February 26th is when we stopped. We were always a few days behind. So 2011 to 2012, and Central West End is down 36% in crime, and a lot of that is in the property crime. For those of you who've been around a while, you know that when our crime numbers go up, it's generally generated by property crimes, and because those seem to have more numbers to them. So I'm not one to gloat about numbers, because anybody can take numbers and kind of use them to the benefit. And the other part of that is I stand here in front of you and say that crime's down 36%, and yesterday you were a victim. You're not feeling too good about 36% decrease. So too many. It's not reasonable to think we can come up with 0. It is one too many if you're the victim. So, but we are seeing some good times. I think there's been a lot of things that have benefited us and allowed these decreases. And the Central West End, I think, is a model for that. That's the partnerships that we've created. I think there's great communication between the Central West End, especially since you have this NSI set up, so we have a good rapport with Jim and Sarah. He failed to tell you that he is who he is today because I made him that way. I will take credit for that, because I can gloat about that. He's a great guy, but Jim's worked for me many times in his career, and retired while he was working for me, if I remember correctly, somewhere close to that. So Jim's a long time with us, a very smart guy. Well, he was smart until he decided to spend a year in Iraq. Then I didn't think he was so smart. But,
You can take credit for that.
he's also, in his mind, it's all about service. That's why he went to Iraq. He wanted to serve his country some more as he's a former Marine. And so we got great communication with Jim. He knows the system. He knows police work. And so I think you've got a good guy here. And then you guys are involved. Last month, the room was filled. And I think over years, that's always been the case in the Central West End. And I always tell people that where you have a block that is just a good block, where I can come here and tell you, we really don't ever have anything there. On occasion, you'll have a rare occurrence, but you have a block. That's because people are involved. You know each other. You don't just come and go. You actually make an attempt to know who your neighbors are so that you know what looks out of place, what looks suspicious. And then part of that is that when you see that suspicious, you actually take some action. And I don't mean going and confronting the suspicious activity, but letting us know so that we can come and confront that suspicious activity. Let us determine whether it's good or bad or not otherwise. And so I think those are some really good things. The other part is you're involved enough that you're helping us with your taxing districts, so it provides you with that extra layer. Because the reality is, and it's not going to get any better. I mean, let's face it. To be honest with you, the tax dollars in the city are going down. The economy's struggling, and so the city's struggling. And this year, if any year, probably is going to be the toughest year we've faced in a long time in terms of coming to decisions on how we're going to do with a lot less. And so, for you to have in the taxing district, it provides that extra layer that you can have, your extra patrols that you pay for. I think we'd all like to think that we could have our tax dollars go and we'd have all the police quality service that you need, but the reality is that we know that's probably not enough. But you've stepped up to the plate, and I think that extra layer that you have with your extra patrols out there really, really makes a difference, and certainly makes me feel better trying to help you with the minimum staffing that I have, and the minimum staffing that I'm going to keep. So I think that's a benefit. In terms of anything going on, I know we've been made aware that there's a guy that's been up and down Euclid quite a bit, Mr. Black. And Timmy Kavanaugh's here. For those of you who don't know Tim, Tim, why don't you come up here a quick second in case some of the people haven't recognized you. But Tim is assigned to the Central West End. That's his sole role. He's been here a long time. How many years you been in Central West End?
A long time.
Long time. Long time. And so he's up and down all the time. You might see him walking. You might see him riding his, what the heck all kind of, you got a scooter and gator and something else? Or,
No, Vespa.
Just a scooter. Vespa. Okay, good. But he got his Vespa. So he's up here. All the businesses have Tim's cell phone. They know to call him immediately. And even if he gets a call at home, I know he's been known to make that next call and make sure somebody gets up here if